Hi, it's Alexis Hasselberger, time management and productivity coach. Now, I want you to imagine this. Imagine that things are going pretty well for you, right? You've got a task system, it's working really well, you're feeling kind of in control and on top of things, and things are going pretty well. And then all of a sudden, something happens, right? Now, maybe it's all of a sudden, maybe you get sick and now you've come back to, 1,000 emails and so much work on your plate. Or maybe things just got a little out of hand, and over time, just keep getting a little bit more until what felt really good no longer feels good anymore and you're feeling underwater, right? So maybe it was like something big that happened, and maybe it's just a little gradual over time, but now you're not feeling so great. You're not feeling so great about your system. You're looking at your task list. Maybe you're not looking because you're afraid to look. There's too much in there. It doesn't feel good. You don't even want to open it. You're avoiding. You're doing what some of my clients call ostriching, where you just stick your head in the sand and hope for the best. And it doesn't feel great, right? Because we are just feeling out of control. We're feeling like there's too much happening and we don't know what to do. Now, what is your instinct when this happens? I'm willing to bet that your instinct is abandon my systems, right? Just do what I can do as things are coming. Things are coming so fast. I can't stop to think. I can't stop to plan. I just have to do. Does that happen to you, right? Are you nodding along saying, yep, that's what happens to me. The systems work pretty well when there's not a lot going on. And then when there's too much going on, I just abandon ship, right? Now, this instinct is normal. It feels like, yeah, there's so much coming. How do we have time to step back and make a plan? No, we have to just do the things. But the reality is actually true. That is an instinct. It's a natural instinct. And the instinct is actually wrong. It's not going to get us where we need to go. The number of times that someone has said to me, I got too busy and I just stopped using my system. Like I don't even have enough fingers, toes, et cetera, to count that. It happens all the time. So you're not alone. But it is not the way. It is not the way forward, because if you stay in that mode, things just compound and you're still stuck. Nothing has changed. What you want to do is you want to take a step back and actually double down on your systems, because the less time that you have, the more choosy you have to be about what you need to do, right? So the more going on, the more choosy you have to be. And just coming back into reaction mode, taking things as they come, it is not going to get you there. It's kind of the difference between, just standing in front of a tennis ball machine, trying to bat it away with your hands, or kind of figuring out where to move so that you're not going to get hit by the balls and you can actually, start hitting them back, right? So what do you want to do in these cases? You want to just combat that instinct, say, I feel like ignoring, but what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to keep going. I'm going to double down on my systems. But what if you have reached a point where you're like, you know what, it's too late. There's no doubling down. It's like completely out of date. Everything is just out of control. I don't even know what to do or where to start. I'm afraid to look. If that's happening to you, you need what I call a hard reset, right? It's kind of like when your computer is just like not functioning properly and you're like, okay, all I've got to do is just like hit that power button, wait 4 seconds, and it'll come back and miraculously things will be better, right? We are going to do that for your systems. So if you're feeling out of control, the first step is to do a hard reset. Now, what does that entail? Now, the very first step is to actually just block off a couple of hours on your calendar as soon as humanly possible to take control, to look at these things and to get it all into place, to do this hard reset. Now, I almost never advocate working on evenings or weekends or times that you don't want to be working. But in this case, if you are in dire need of a hard reset, do it as soon as you can. If that means you have to take this evening to do it, if that means you need Saturday morning to do it, this is the one time where I'll say, like, do that, because the sooner you do it, the better you're going to feel. Just overall, right? The sooner you do it, the better you're going to feel. So once you've scheduled that time, then I just want you to not think about it until that time is scheduled, right? Just do what you're doing. And then when that time comes, now is the time to think about it. What are you going to do when you're there? So the first thing you want to do is you want to start with your inputs. So you want to make sure that you're capturing all of the things. So go into your email, make sure that anything that is a task in your email is now a task in your task system, so it can be prioritized with everything else. Slack messages that are starred, perhaps. Yep, make sure those are here. If you've got Post-it notes sitting around, get them into your system. Like, get all the inputs and bring everything back into your system. It might be scary. It'll be a long list, but it's going to be a lot easier to deal with once you've got it all in one place. Then once you've got everything in one place, I want you to actually face it, right? Look at those things that are overdue. If they, you know what, you didn't do them, right? That's fine. Can only move forward. You didn't do them in the past. So when are you going to do them in the future? Try to make a realistic plan for your just the next week, right? Look at your task list, look at your calendar side by side, and make a realistic plan based on the information that you have right now, the responsibilities that you have, and what is actually capable for you to achieve, right? This is not the time to be overly ambitious. This is the time to be realistic. Then I want you to make that plan until it feels good, right? And it might even feel uncomfortable because you're like, I need to get more stuff done, but make it until it feels like a good, reasonable plan for the next week. And then I want you to congratulate yourself for doing a hard thing, for facing a hard thing, and for coming out on the other side. I promise you, you will feel so much better once you have a realistic plan ahead of you. Even if you still have 500 other things you haven't done yet, you will feel so much more in control. So, do you need a hard reset? Tell me in the comments. Have you tried a different method? Tell me in the comments. And if you want more of this type of content every single week, make sure to subscribe.
Like she said, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you want to see this type of content. Because as you can see, only 13.9% of the people that watch our videos are actually subscribed.